Hey peeps, how's it going? Welcome back. Today, talking about what happened last night, or game two, for those of you guys who'll be watching it later on. But before we hop into that, we got several things to talk about and less time to do it in. You guys know the drill. Next to the subscribe button, there's a little bell icon. You want to hit that to get notifications from my channel, so that way you know when I'm going live, for example, right now, or just for when I post videos or post comments on here. You'd be the first to know, like Marcel right here. What's going on, man? He was the first, so he got notification from it. But Instagram and Twitter, both in the description as well. Check those out. Twitter family is growing strong. And yeah. So, all right. What's going on, Jimbo? So, last night was definitely better for the Detroit Pistons. They adjusted, and at times they had the lead, um, especially going into the halftime. Um, Man, that was a good first half for the Pistons. Really good first half. But unfortunately, our coach showed up and made some questionable substitution. Um, Reggie Jackson was not in the final minutes of that game, which I don't know why. But at that point, it was already starting to spiral out of control. And at that point, you were just hoping for dear life. I don't understand what the dealio with that one is. But Reggie Jackson is your starting point guard, for those of you guys who like it or not. And when healthy, has proven to be Mr. Fourth Quarter. Don't know why Ish Smith was getting that. Ish Smith is the guy supposed to come in there to give, but just Dwayne Casey lived to his motto. Bruce Brown had a great game defensively, and he never saw the floor again after he made an impact. He had Giannis frustrated. Giannis had a quick 3 fouls, 4 fouls, whatever it was going into the half, and they didn't play him. Instead, they played Ellington and Thon Maker. There you go, right in the chat, who can't hit a shot to save their lives right now. Both these players were sought after by the Pistons to make a change and make a playoff push, and neither one of them has shown up so far. There are still 2 guaranteed games that the Pistons have to play. And for Wayne Ellington is really big for him because he is a free agent. And if he is gambling on himself, he needs to have a big game or else he won't get paid. Thon Maker, I think he just has a little bit of the jitterbug. Obviously, playing against the team that he was traded from. Giannis and him were best friends on the team. Kind of like how the Drummond and Stanley Johnson thing, that's kind of how their relationship was. And Giannis is tearing him up right now. But there's only so much you can do to stop Giannis. Giannis is a freak. There's a reason he is called the Greek Freak. They have done a decent job holding him down to doing the jump shots. If you can make him settle for threes, you're gonna have to live with the consequence, whether win, lose, or draw. If he's not attacking the paint, he's settling for jump shots. You got to do it. You found the way to stop Giannis. You've implemented that you can slow him down and stop him. And when you've done that, you've won on these stretches where you've had 13-2 runs and all this kind of stuff. You've stopped him. You slowed him down. You did your job. But after that, you stop doing what you're doing. You change it up all of a sudden. Your offense goes flat. I don't know why they keep giving the ball to Drummond and giving him that high post thing. Like, it was working early on, but you can't run it for full 48 minutes, man. People adjust. This is what good coaches do. And Milwaukee certainly has a good coach. You can't give this team the same look. Milwaukee is, if not the best, one of the best defensive teams in the league. You have to throw different looks at them. And you're still not running the pick and roll with Drummond and Jackson as much as I'd like to see it run. But Luke Kennard's feeling it. You're not giving him enough touches. When your shooters are hot, you have to give them the ball, especially since Wayne Ellington has just disappeared. Just absolutely disappeared. Give Luke Kennard the ball, but now he's got 2 more days of rest. So now we don't know if he's going to be hot or not. There's so many things wrong with what the Pistons did. because that was a winnable game. The final score doesn't look like it was a winnable game, but at one time the Pistons controlled the pace of the game and could have really capitalized on it. Yeah, I feel like the Pistons are scared. There's a lot of pressure on them, especially with Blake Griffin being out. There's a lot of weight on Drummond's shoulders right now, trying to be the leader of this team, and no one really, except for Luke Kennard, is really stepping up. Bruce Brown played a hell of a defensive game last night, and you have to have that in the playoffs. You're gonna look at all these teams. Like I know Golden State's really made for offense. That's what they're known for, but you can't go in the playoffs without a defensive team. It doesn't work. You have to be a good defensive team. You look at Cleveland when they went to the finals. They were a bad defensive team and they got swept, and it shows. You have to have good defense to be good. I'm sorry, I missed that one. Let me see that. The thing with Galloway though is he's really inconsistent. So when he's hot, you got to play him. But there's gonna be times he's shooting like Wayne Ellington where he can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. So right now you got to ride him and Luke Kennard. Them guys have been stepping up, and it's gonna continue in Detroit. They're gonna be more comfortable. I feel everyone's gonna be a little bit more comfortable being at home. It is going to be uh, a great environment. For those of you guys who don't know, I will be going to Game 3. So if you are going, be on the lookout for me. But this is the first playoff game in Little Caesars Arena's history. Very first one. So it's going to be kind of something special. It's going to be part of history. And you don't really want to leave a bad reputation for it. You want to establish right off the bat that Little Caesars Arena is an arena where you don't want to play in the playoffs because you're going to get beat. Easier said than done against Milwaukee. I know. But you got to really step up Game 3 this Saturday and show the Bucks that you guys just can't come in here and beat us. Easier said than done. I know. I really do know. Milwaukee is insanely good, very versatile and talented, offensively and defensively. But, and here's the big but, Blake Griffin is more than likely going to play Game 3. I feel like he could have played Game 2, which the game would have been a whole lot closer and a lot different. He still has that brace on his leg, but they say it's going day to day where he's got his good days and his bad days. He's going to play Game 3. I almost guarantee it. If he does not play Game 3, I will be very disappointed. But this is his team, man. It's not like the Clippers. And people can argue that was his team in the Clippers. It was really technically Chris Paul's or Doc Rivers' team. But Blake Griffin is the leader of this team. He doesn't want to take the game off. Just because the Clippers had so much firepower, the Pistons aren't that deep. We need Blake Griffin to win games. We are terrible without Blake Griffin. One of the worst done without their best player. But we need Blake to win. You can't win without Blake, though. You're not deep enough. And that's another thing you need in the playoffs is depth. That's why people like Boston and Indiana series look so good right now, because both those teams are deep. The Clippers came back and beat the Warriors from 31 points because they're so deep. We're not that deep. That's a problem. You can't win without your best player if you're not deep. Thon Maker's a different kind of player than Blake Griffin is. Blake Griffin is out there for offensive production. And that's about 25 points a game right now. That's how much you're getting beat by. That is going to even it up. And it's going to make everyone feel more comfortable because that's how we've been running the season, the whole season is with Blake. And when he's not out there in the playoffs, you got to run something different. It's going to trip you out. So when you get your player back, get your offense back, everyone's going to settle back down, get more comfortable, and get into a rhythm. Now, the thing with Blake Griffin coming back is his defense sucks. Or that he lacks playing defense. We all know this. So Giannis is probably going to go freaking crazy. You're going to see these numbers and go, damn, he's already having those numbers with Thon on him. So I really don't know what the answer is, but you found what you were doing against Giannis. Make him settle for the jumper. You have to live by that, man. You have to live by that. If he starts hitting those threes, you got to live with it. But giving him all these easy layups and stuff, it's killing you. All right, I missed a couple of you guys here. Let me go. A lot of money coming in this offseason to get those defensive scoring 3-and-D guys. So, well, Stan Van Dummy, his official era is almost up. We got a lot of those bad contracts coming off the book over the next 2 to 3 seasons. Um, Obviously, we got a couple coming off of this season, next season, and the year after that. So there's really 3 years back to back. We got some expiring contracts that have been just really shitty that are coming off. So you're going to have some money to spend. And I've been saying it for those of you guys who didn't want to make the playoffs. If you make the playoffs, whether you're the first seed or the eighth seed, people are going to naturally be drawn to you just because they feel like they can help you in the playoff race or win a game or something. If you make the playoffs, free agents are going to want to play for you. I don't think I seen Zaza at all last night, which just put him out there. I don't want honestly anyone to get hurt long term, but I'm a Pistons diehard fan. Sorry for the Bucks fans who might be watching this, but yeah, you gotta take Zaza and put him on Giannis and do what you did to Kawhi. I mean, something's got to change, man. You you can't keep allowing the Bucks players, not named Giannis, to take the game over. Despite Drummond not necessarily having an outstanding game, he still had 15 points and 15 boards. And Brook Lopez was frustrated all night long, always complaining to the refs. He had to foul Drummond almost every time to stop him. I don't remember. What have you been saying, man? You got to be more specific than that. You said a lot. But you got to shut down Eric Bledsoe and Chris Middleton and all these other guys. You can't let these guys get hot. Because if you let everyone get hot, plus you're letting Giannis score 26 and getting 17 rebounds, you have no chance. No chance at all. And we really do need more firepower. You really need more shooters that are consistent and way better defensive players. Because outside of Bruce Brown, we don't what Patrick Beverley has done for the Clippers. That is the kind of player we need. And I don't know if we'll necessarily get Patrick Beverley because him and Blake Griffin might be beefing. I don't know. But you need that type of player on your team. And you had it with Stanley Johnson. You had that player who was good at one-on-one. He wasn't great, but he could have turned into something. Him and Bruce Brown, there was times we've seen glimpses of it. So we expected Thon to be that maker. What, I just said his last name. We expected Thon to be that player. There we go, Drew. And he's some glimpses of it too. But again, he's a rim protector. He's going to protect the paint. You really need those guys on the perimeter, man. If you had a Patrick Beverley on Bledsoe and shut Bledsoe down, that would take so much pressure off of everybody. And then once he went cold and Chris Middleton was getting hot, you put Beverley on Chris Middleton, and he'd be in a pretty good way right now. But you just don't have those players. And Bruce Brown played pretty well last night, and you took him out of the game. So Dwayne Casey's really the problem right now. Yeah, if you put Zaza on Giannis just to tweak his ankle, that'd be good. The plan next season, there's a lot of ways you can go. You are getting roughly 10 to... I don't know how much the cap went up. The cap went up a lot, I'm pretty sure. And there's a couple expiring contracts. I'm pretty sure Lure's contract is up. You got Zaza's contracts up. Glenn Robinson and Ish Smith. Who else am I forgetting? I feel like there's one more. I think we stopped paying Josh Smith, or that might stop because we're still paying for Josh Smith right now. I think that's either up this season or next season. But in the long term, you got some money coming up, and you can either hold on to it and stick with what you got and get some more players in the draft, or you can make a splash. Reggie Jackson's contract is on a 1-year deal after this. So his trade value is going to be the highest it's going to be. But more than likely, he probably won't be moved until the trade deadline because no one's going to want to pay him that much money for the whole entire season. Dream case scenario, obviously, is getting Kemba Walker. He is a free agent. So you'd have to make some trade moves to clear up some cap. But you really need a point guard because all the pressure is on Blake Griffin to do something. And it's just not working when he's not there because you don't have that guy. And it didn't necessarily always work when we had Blake. I mean, we did finish 41-41. I mean, teams adjust. You can't run the same stuff over and over again. Adding an elite point guard like Kemba Walker, you almost have to run the pick and roll. But Kemba Walker's special. Damian Lillard's special. I know those are the two names out there right now to try to go get. Those guys, you can put them one-on-one, give them room to go, and they're going to make something happen. Reggie Jackson, I love the guy, especially when he's healthy, but he needs the pick and roll to be effective. He's not a good ISO player. But the thing with not only with Kemba and Lillard are they ISO players, they're team players. They move the ball, but when they get hot, they are dangerous. And adding something like that with Blake Griffin and Drummond is going to be insanely hard to stop. I mean, they'd almost be front runners to win the East. I mean, they'd probably be top 2 or 3 with just that player. But those players are hard to come by. You have to cough up something. So in order to get a Kemba Walker, a Damian Lillard, so on, you have to probably go over the luxury tax, which I know Tom Gores does not want to do. All right, I'm going to go back up to the top. Everyone's missing threes. I don't know what the deal with that is. Everyone all of a sudden just forgot how to shoot the ball. If Thonmaker bulks up, he is going to be scary. Really scary. I like the front office decisions that they've made so far. I trust them. So they are going to make the right moves. What they did at the trade deadline to free up some cap before the season was over was incredible. So I trust them to make some room for money and eventually bring in a bigger name. There are glimpses, I'm not going to lie, where I can see Luke Kennard playing point guard. But that is not his natural position. That is going to take time to develop. I would much rather see Bruce Brown be transitioned into a point guard. I really like Luke Kennard at shooting guard. Just for floor spacing purposes. If you can groom Bruce Brown into a point guard, that would be my go-to. Although Kyrie Thomas looks very solid. I don't know why we're not playing with him. Nothing against Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard's got some incredible playmaking skills at times. But right now, for Luke Kennard's best future, you have to give him the ball and let him be a scorer. Because right now, outside of Blake Griffin, we don't have any guy we can give the ball to get a bucket. Right now, you need a. I don't even care if it's for the best of him to become a point guard to get those buckets, then do it. But you need someone to give the ball to and go get you a bucket. That's really what you're lacking right now. Besides your shit poor defense, you can't have a poor offense to go with it. You got to be good at something. And Blake Griffin being out, we're nothing offensively or defensively. And we're not going to be good, better defensively with Blake Griffin coming back, but our offense is going to be better. So, plus Thon, I feel is more comfortable coming in and off the bench, and it lets Blake and Drummond play more aggressively because if they get in foul trouble, Thon's gonna come in there and take their spot, and he flourishes at center and power forward. So that's what but Thon just feels uncomfortable right now. Playing against one of his friends, I feel like he's trying too hard. He's not playing naturally. He's trying to force stuff, and even in the last couple games in the season, he's gone cold. Thon, you're 7 foot something, man. You don't have to just shoot threes, man. How many guys are gonna stop you? Honestly, You got smaller guys on you. You're not having guys like Drummond on you just because you're so skinny. Body them down low, bulk up, get stronger, and let's get some easy buckets down low in the paint. You see what they're doing with Drummond, don't you guys? That every time Drummond gets the ball, there's three, four, sometimes five guys down low in the paint. Don't chuck up those shots. How's it going? How's it going, man? If you kick the ball out and swing it around, there's eventually going to be a shooter open. There was that one play that they fouled Drummond super hard. Not a flagrant or whatever, but Lopez pretty much hugged him the whole way and complained about it. Four guys were on him. If you kick that ball out, man, there's somebody open. And I know the shot clock was running down low, but just because you have the ball, you don't have to shoot it. And in the playoffs, you're taking really dumb shots. I mean, you're taking contested threes, 3-pointers outside of the 3-point line with like 14 seconds on the shot clock. In the playoffs, you have to slow it down. It is more important to get a 2-pointer 9 times out of 10 than to shoot 30% from downtown. In playoffs, the important thing is scoring, and you're not scoring the ball as efficiently as you should be. So, I was watching the Boston Celtics game versus the Pacers just before I started watching the Pistons game because it was on about half an hour earlier. And the reason Boston got off to a slow start because they were settling for threes. Which, when you settle for threes, there are going to be times you hit most of them, and you're going to go crazy, and you'll blow the other team out. But then there's going to be times you can't hit anything at all. Jason Tatum really started the trend. I've seen him a couple times pump fake in the three and step in a shot or a step or two to shoot the mid-range shot, which is really a lost art right now. You have to do what you have to do. I don't care if it's pretty. I don't care if it's flashy or just pretty much simple. Score the damn ball, man. That's all you have to do. Yeah. Andre, I love the guy. But he doesn't have anyone showing him what's happening out there. There's no communication offensively. And it doesn't just fall on Drummond. Um, Everyone that's on the floor has to be a leader. You have to call everything out. I was, again, watching the Celtics game. Aaron Baines was screaming at the top of his lung what to do offensively and defensively. You don't have that guy out there. No one's saying kick it out or anything. They're silent. That's a problem. You got to communicate. You got to communicate, man. Well, to be fair, in Drummond's defense, there's no play calls for him. He has to do everything on his own. And when you're getting paid that much and you have as much natural ability as he does and you don't get anything your way, whether it's foul calls or play calls, you do some dumb stuff. He's still a super young player. He might not be as mature as he needs to be yet, but you get him elite point guard. For example, a Kemba Walker, like we were talking about earlier, and his numbers are going to go up. Again, he doesn't have his partner in crime, Blake Griffin, with him. He's got Thon Maker. So he's pretty much doing everything he can. But there's only so much you can do when no one else wants to play. It's a really complicated thing here. I'll get back to it here in a second. I'll go more in depth into it. Yeah, we've been saying that for a while here, man, that the pick and roll is what the Pistons need to run. And to help Drummond's contract their situation, that's what got him that max deal. Him and Reggie Jackson were super explosive off the pick and roll. And it wasn't just him and Jackson. I mean, when he had Jennings, him and Jennings really flourished in the pick and roll. Hell, even when we had Will the Thrill Bynum, they really flourished in the pick and roll. You can't take away a player's best option because you want to do something different. If that's what Drummond has to do to score 30 points, run the pick and roll. It's a solid play. And you got the shooters out there with Kennard, Galloway, Wayne Ellington, and at times Thon Maker when he's feeling it, to stretch the floor out and create some space for it. It opens everything up. It opens Reggie's floater. He's got to be shooting 70, 75% using that. I mean, that's really a deadly weapon of his. And he's having to do it off the ISO. It's not going to work off the ISO. You got to do it off the pick and roll. You get a quick lob to Dre. There's an easy two. Or eventually, after you do that a couple times and they start collapsing, you got shooters on the perimeter. And the shooters have to knock down their shots. So, really, pick and roll is what this team is meant to be. Whether you guys like it or not. The handoffs keeps them honest. But again, they ran it for a full 48 minutes. If you keep running the same play the whole game, eventually they're going to adjust. I mean, that's only common sense. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over. It's all right to run it every once in a while. You get Drummond a little bit of confidence being a playmaker and stuff, but some of those passes that he was doing were not great passes, and he picked up his dribble. So once all the cutters were denied the ball, he just stood there for a good 5 seconds and looked retarded. It's not a good play call. Don't worry though, when Blake Griffin comes back, again, if he comes back, but I'm feeling really confident he's going to play Game 3. The offense is going to be more in rhythm. Everyone's going to settle back down. Just hope he's healthy. Just hope he's healthy. Well, again, the pick and roll helps limit the turnovers. Reggie Jackson did a good job yesterday taking care of the ball. But you can't score when your two most paid players are not getting the ball. I'm in 118, row 5. How do you expect to win? And I know Blake Griffin was out, but Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond are your top paid players and arguably the best players with Blake Griffin being out. At least they're supposed to be. Reggie Jackson's questionable. How are you supposed to win when you don't get the ball in their hands? Especially Reggie Jackson, man. 3 years ago, when we made the playoffs, Reggie Jackson was Mr. Fourth Quarter. He hasn't really lost that touch. You don't ever really lose the clutchness. I hate Dwayne Casey playing Ish Smith in the fourth quarter, especially that late in the fourth quarter. I don't mind it when you take Reggie Jackson out early in the third quarter to give him rest to go for the fourth quarter. But, man, that's his time to shine. You got to do that for him. Especially when your best player's out. You got to give the ball to Reggie and Drummond to make something happen. And if they don't perform, you got to live with it. Because right now they're your best players. Whether you guys want them as your best players or not, man, it's what reality is right now. Every time. It's hard to stop. I mean, Drummond's like 280 pounds. Like 6'10", 6'11". He's already quick on the boards. You're going to have a hell of a time trying to keep him away from the basket, man. Hell of a time to keep him away. Brook Lopez is having a hard time keeping him off the glass right now. He's getting frustrated. And you start getting dunked on or easy layups and one opportunities, you're going to be in a long series, man. You're going to have to start doing that to turn this thing around. Because right now, you're in trouble. Milwaukee is coming in off a really high. They played 2 great games. 2 really good games on Milwaukee's part. Defensively and offensively. And now they're coming to Detroit. You really got to put your foot down, man. You can't let them win Game 3. Game 3 is a must win or the series is going to be over, Game 4. Yeah, but that's one game, though. How many times did Reggie Jackson win us games in 2016 in the fourth quarter? That's Reggie's earned that opportunity to be in the game that late just from all the games that he's gone off and carried us. And it really makes Drummond play better. So I like Ish. I'm not knocking Ish, but Ish necessarily isn't as clutch as Reggie Jackson when Reggie Jackson's feeling it. Now, if Reggie's not feeling it and he's doing bad shots, then yeah, take him out of the game. You can't take bad shots in the fourth quarter. But teams aren't still respecting Ish's three-point. You have to respect Reggie all around. Reggie can do everything offensively. Ish is still working on the three. The three's improved a lot, but teams still aren't respecting that. And there's going to be times they give him the ball. There was a couple times last night they gave him the ball to shoot the three. and it didn't go in. That's going to hurt you. You really can't take bad shots in the playoffs. And I'm not saying it's a bad shot, but it's really not his game. And Milwaukee's too tall and athletic down low for him to penetrate. I just don't feel like Reggie's necessarily into it with Dwayne Casey's system. I feel like Reggie might want out of here. I don't know if he's going to stay or not, but you gotta do something, man. You gotta boost Reggie Jackson's confidence because I mean he's just after he comes back in, he doesn't want to play because you took him out of the game so long. I feel part of that is him trying to do too much. With Blake Griffin being out, it's his team. He's got to lead them to victory, and I feel like he's trying to do too much. He's trying to get too fancy with it. There was that one play last night. Andre poked the ball away, had an easy dunk, but poked it out of bounds. So you just got to settle down. He hasn't been in the playoffs in a few years, and he was just a little guy at that time, man. And he's the best rebounder in the league. I wish he personally would dunk the ball more, being that big. I don't know what the deal with that one is. But right now, I feel Drummond's trying to do too much. He's not playing his game the way it needs to be played. Let's see. Yeah, they take Reggie out too much, man. Too much. But again, though, when Reggie's feeling it, man, those are going to go in. They're not good shots, I know. But in the fourth quarter, he's going to want to score. He's going to get down low. He's going to get layups. He's going to draw fouls. This is what he's going to do. He's done it all the time. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to. No promises, depending on how we're going to play. But it should be a fun game. But really, the Pistons' big problem is not having another scoring option. That's really the big problem. Plus, they don't like to stay home on defense. They like to chase the ball. I have a strong gut feeling Reggie's going to be traded. Just because this is going to be the best time to trade him. An expiring contract. He's proved he can stay healthy for a season. But that, again, though, might be more of a trade deadline kind of a move. Because I'm not sure if a team's going to want to pay him for a whole entire season. That is yet to be determined. But if we do trade Reggie Jackson away, I don't know how much we're going to get him returned. But if we trade him in the offseason, it is going to clear up money to go get a big free agent like a Kemba Walker. And I'm not sure if Damian Lillard's a free agent or not. But I would really advise going after him via trade. I know Portland is going to want an arm and a leg for him. And especially if they make it to the second round, they probably won't trade him. But, yeah, I think the Reggie Jackson experiment is over. Just from the system that you're playing. He doesn't fit. He doesn't. Luke Kennard should be a starter, man. I just thought I was going to wait till next season. Bruce Brown, throughout the season, every time he's come in off the bench, has been way, way more effective. But that's what got him a starting role was his defense. So, but I liked Bruce Brown coming off the bench the entire season. He's always been more effective that way. Second round draft pick and a G League player. I don't know, but I don't think we're gonna get anything big back out of it unless there's like a team like in the offseason. You never know what's gonna happen. There could be a star player who says they want out of an arena. For an example, Anthony Davis did that. We're not going to get Anthony Davis, but I'm just using that as an example. That might happen. I don't know. You can never tell with these stars. Kyrie Irving is a free agent. He is definitely going to New York, so I won't even talk about that. I don't even know why I brought that up right now. We're just going to skip past that one. Yeah, just take that extra step in and shoot the mid-range jumper. That's the thing I don't like about the NBA. It's either a dunk layup or a three. No one shoots mid rangers or anything like that. Hardly anyone posts up anymore. I mean, there's so many ways to get a bucket. You don't just have to shoot a three. It's really lazy. No one wants to put the work into drive in and make a better shot attempt. They all just want to settle. Everyone wants to settle. You can't win games that way. Yeah, Bruce Brown has got a bright future. His defense is there. Again, though, he might be a little bit skinny, but he needs to develop some kind of offensive game. And it's not going to happen overnight. You don't just one season not score hardly at all to scoring 20 points a game, and he might not be a 20-point scorer. Um, but Tayshaun Prince, when he came into the league, was not necessarily a great offensive player at all. But over time, he developed that little corner shot and got more comfortable with it. And he became a pretty solid offensive player. Nothing fancy or great or spectacular, uh, but similar to what Bruce Brown is going to have to become. Thon just doesn't shoot well enough to be a small forward. I feel he's really more of a power forward at center. I don't personally like him playing small forward. Uh, I mean, we'd be big. We shouldn't get any miss an opportunity on rebounds. But he doesn't offensively wouldn't fit. Defensively, we would be a force, but just offensively, it would be atrocious. It would be so bad, so very bad. Especially right now, the way he's playing, it would be terrible. Really, we need Patrick Beverly, a Mark Lugs, like coming in and revolt the way you're playing. That's what we're missing. And I thought Glenn Robinson was going to be that guy. I thought Bruce Brown had a potential to be that guy, and they really haven't translated into that yet. Well, Thon is, despite being bad, showing Giannis that nothing is going to be easy. Even though he's picked up quick fouls or whatever, he's showing Giannis you're going to have to work for it. Glenn Robinson is going to get bullied. Um, they've been putting Andre on him, and it's been working. Then they start switching it back up. I don't know why. Again, the only way to stop Giannis right now is to make him settle for the three. What you're gonna have to do is enter Bad Boy, knock him on his butt a couple times when he comes down in the paint. That's gonna be Zaza's job because you don't want Drummond getting in foul trouble or getting another flagrant two. But you're gonna keep knocking down on your back. You're not gonna want to keep doing that. He's gonna settle for the three. So Thon Maker, Zaza, that's really their job defensively right now. It's just to knock him on his butt. So that way he doesn't want to come down there anymore. So if he settles with the three, you got to live with it. I think Blake does play game three. I feel like he was really wanting to play game two. I don't think there's any possible way they're going to hold him on game three. He needs to play game three, or the series is going to be over. Yeah, but GR3, we got him cheap, and on the bench, he's not a bad bench player. He has his moments, man. He really does. Again, he's not perfect. He has times where I have WTF moment with him, but he doesn't play that much. So I don't have a problem with Glenn Robinson. I mean, you got him for cheap. So if you keep him for cheap, I say you keep him just as a depth move because he's not garbage. He's not great, but I mean, not everyone's going to be Blake Griffin out there. But his defense is good. But really, again, his offense is what's hurt. It's Dwayne Casey. You can't blame the assistants. It's Dwayne Casey's team. It's his responsibility to do the substitutions. Um, I don't know what the hell he's thinking at times to do it. Some of his rotations are actually worse than Stan Van Gundy's. Um, just, again, it leaves us speechless at times. I don't know what the deal with it is. Come off the bench. He's not a starter. Unless you want him to fall out right off the bat. That'd be the only way I'd start him. If your whole goal is just to go out there and show him that you're not taking anything, then yeah, I guess. But that, because our problem really isn't our starters keeping up. Is when we transition to the bench and we take Reggie and all the shooters out. That's really when we start struggling. Because we don't really have any defensive players besides Bruce Brown. And I like Galloway when he's on fire, but when he can't hit nothing, he doesn't play defense as good or as well as anybody. So, I mean, really, I don't know where I was going. I lost my train of thought. I just got frustrated thinking about it. uh, yeah, but Zaza's 100%. It would be like me 100%. And I don't play NBA style basketball. I play pickup basketball and the rec center basketball. I'm pretty sure I could put up better numbers than Zaza. And I'm not even in shape. So what does that say? Zaza is pure garbage. He's really an eyesore. You think Andre Drummond's plus minus is bad? Put Zaza in there. All he's gonna do is fumble the ball, like Adrian Peterson, and foul people. That's pretty much all he's good for. So if you like watching a guy fumble the ball around for 5 seconds, then yeah, Zaza's your guy. Uh, I feel like he would have got more time this year, but he's hurt. I think he broke his finger or had to have surgery on his finger. I'm not sure when that occurred, but I hope that's the only reason he didn't play. But he is another building block for this future. This team's future is really bright with all the young players that you have. Don't pull a Steve Ingram and do not trade any of these players away. Do not. These guys have potential to be a good team in the summer. Uh, the summer league should be fun to watch this season. Just all the young pieces that you have. You got Kyrie Thomas, Bruce Brown, Shaviv, Luke Kennard. I don't think he'll play in the summer league, but again, that's another young building block. I mean, Drummond and Athon are still young players. I mean, the future's bright for this team. Really bright. I just don't feel like Dwayne Casey likes Reggie, to be honest with you. I really don't. Um, I'm gonna plan on doing. I'm gonna do some research either this week, probably not this week, but next week, because this week my main focus. I'm doing a vlog for the playoff game, so that might not be uploaded right away. I'm gonna do some time to edit that one, and I'm gonna make that a really good video for you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoy that. So after that, the series will probably be pretty close to wrapping up. And more of my content is to start switching to Lions talk because that's going to be what's taking over. But I am going to do some off-season talk with the Pistons. I'm going to do some research on who is available via free agency, players I'd like, and realistically who could come to this team. I did that last season, and I think I predicted Glenn Robinson. I think. Um, I'll have to go back and check that out. But then I got some draft talk. Currently, I think we're gonna have the 15th pick in the draft, so I'll be doing some draft talk. So I got to give some. I haven't been focusing on the off season because my whole drive the last couple months has been focusing on making this playoff push stuff. So in due time, all that stuff will be coming out. We got some good stuff coming out in the future for content wise. So stick around for that. I don't know. Reggie doesn't really take the game seriously at times. You look at the interviews. I feel like Dwayne Casey really wants more serious style players. Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan were goofy, but they took the game serious when it mattered, and I feel like Dwayne Casey's trying to establish that. Reggie does get reckless at times. He does get loose with the ball and turn it over a lot. So, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, Reggie's not perfect all the way through. Even in 2016, when he was at his best. He wasn't perfect. But the fourth quarter is when he shined and took over the games and helped us get to the playoffs. So I don't know. I really don't know. Could be several things. I mean, Reggie could be fighting with Casey. There might be some behind the court stuff that we're not seeing right now. Reggie Jackson wasn't happy in OKC because he wasn't getting enough touches. So that could be a problem here. And Dwayne Casey's not really going to accept that kind of a mindset. I don't know. I mean, there's several things that could be happening. All right, peeps, I have to get back to work. I appreciate you guys all coming out. Hopefully we can win game 3. But who knows? Blake Griffin's status is still up in the air, but more than likely I have a strong feeling he is going to play. So once again, thank you guys for all coming out. I hope you guys have a good day. I know it's kind of a rainy day outside for those of you guys who are in Michigan. So try to stay dry and warm out there. But without further ado,